guys, and welcome back to Mystic Mamas. My name's Danielle, and today I'll be your host. I'm doing a little solo because, well, I wasn't sure this episode was going to come out. I wanted to do this solo and talk about my move and talk about the transition and the things that I have been manifesting that are coming to reality, and really talk about that the after, right? Oh, look at this after, but the universe is giving me lessons, and so we're always learning lessons, but this particular, I thought things were really laid out in this move finally, and it just turns out that like I'm getting another one of those surrender and trust lessons. I feel like this is a theme in my life lately, just to just surrender and trust that what's happening is happening for me, and that everything's going to work out in the end. When I am the type of person who usually kind of thrives under having things under control, and this fake idea that we can have control over anything. Yeah, so I was not sure. I wanted the after, right? And right now I'm in the between, and things are kind of playing out to where I'm really being tested on that faith, that trust. And so it reminded me kind of why we started this podcast to begin with, because there's so much of like, look at all I've manifested. And there's not a lot of the in between on the trusting the process, and the not yet, and the I'm still working on it. And so that's why we're here. And that's why I kind of thought it was more important to get this solo out now. Also, life has been kind of chaotic. This move, I'm recording right now on Wednesday. I leave Saturday. So it is happening fast. And Daniel is working so much. And I'm so grateful that he's such a hard worker. But it does mean that most of the packing and getting everything together while he works, because he literally works until Friday and we leave on Saturday morning. So it's like so much packed into such a small time period. And luckily, I am grateful because I'm a organization queen and I thrive here. So I have been slowly getting rid of stuff and letting go of stuff this whole time. And so it's not as chaotic as it could be, but I also have a toddler to take care of while I'm packing. And if you know anything about toddlers, doing anything productive with them is a slow process, and lots of breaks, lots of interruptions, lots of comforting and emotional regulation. And it's just a lot. So I wasn't sure I was going to get this out, but I'm feeling called to talk about this transition. I'm really grateful that we have this community and this space, and y'all are here for us and here to hear our journeys and hear about everything that we go through, and to hold space for us and to hold space for what we go through, so that maybe if it resonates with someone, or if you've been through something similar, then it can make you feel less alone. And that's what this is all about, right? Building community, and also sharing the fact that we're not alone in our struggles and our successes and our failures and any of it. Like we can all be in this together, and there's so much power in community. And that's a big theme of this move for me, is finally having more community around me. And so, yeah, I kind of want to take you guys on a small journey. Bear with me. I really don't want to be too wordy or make this too long of an episode, but there's so much I do want to highlight and acknowledge. And maybe not for any of you, maybe just for me, but I do want to sit, as this week has given me so much reflection on the last 4 years here as we move out of Dallas. I came into Dallas 4 years ago, almost. 4 years ago, a little over, I guess, because we moved in the winter of 2019, and I moved up here as a single, kind of. I just started talking to one of my best guy friends, aka my current boyfriend and baby daddy. But at the time, we were just talking, and I moved up here with my best friend, and we were moving in together. And I had just turned 29 and ready to just like give myself the best last year of my 20s and go all out. And I am leaving. I'm leaving here a mom who runs a spirituality podcast with Dakota, who doesn't even live in the same city as Dakota anymore. I'm also 33, going to be turning 34. It's like I've lived multiple lifetimes since then, even though it's only been 4 years. It feels like I'm sure some of you can relate to the last 4 years from 2020 to now has just been so batshit crazy. I don't know how to explain it other than that. It's been a journey of growth and failure and trauma and spiritual awakenings. It's been so crazy that I can't help but sit back and just reflect on the growth and the healing and the extreme life changes that this move up here and that Dallas has brought me in these last 4 years. And truthfully, sometimes I've struggled looking at it because there was so much promise in this move, and it just, our lives were turned upside down so quickly that it's been like a whiplash on all the crazy changes and the learning lessons and the struggles, and all of it's just happened in such a short span that I have so much gratitude. But also looking back, when I like sat down these last like 2 weeks, really taking a look at everything that's happened in my own personal journey in the last 4 years, I hold so much more love and compassion for myself because damn, it has been crazy. And so I just kind of want to go over a little bit just to kind of talk about where I'm at now and to kind of show you guys the growth and like how messy this journey can be, but there's so much beauty in it. And when you get to the other side of some of that mess, it's like, damn, you can really see and hold space and have gratitude for why some of these things kind of happen for us. I don't like to, I've really been working to steer away from things happening, quote unquote, to me, and really honoring the fact that things happen for me, even if I can't see it. And even being like thankful for my struggles and thanking the universe for my learning opportunities, because it has made me so much more kind to myself, but also holding gratitude for the lessons and the like message in the mess. And these last few weeks before we move, I can't help but see so much of it. When I first moved up here, looking back, it's like sometimes I feel like I had more control over my life back then, even though it was probably one of the times in my life where I have the least control, because I just was so asleep consciously. Truly, sometimes wonder like what was going on in my head. I just was so focused on such superficial living and so many different things. And I'm don't regret any of my past. I've had such a fun time. But that's the thing, is I was so hyper focused on just fun and party and what I'm going to do tonight and tomorrow and this weekend is so like very, very short term focused. And that's because I grew up very much so surrounded by this limiting belief that my physical appearance was all that mattered, that I was only worth my weight. I was only worth how much the scale said I was. I was only worth what other people told me I was worth. And I really clung to a lot of those limiting beliefs growing up. And I just kind of was fed this picture image. I grew up overweight in the 2000s and the early, the 90s, 2000s. It was, I mean, if you went through it, it was not a good time. It's still, I'm very grateful that we live in a like so body positive state now and where people have help. And back then I just was so lost. And I truly believed that I just was unworthy and I wasn't gonna live long because fat girls don't live long and they don't find love and they don't. I was really told this like really negative image, and it just I allowed myself to live that. And in that, I just focused on having fun and focused on partying my way through my feelings, shoving down as much of them as I could. And wasn't until 2020 when I was kind of forced with the rest of the world to sit really fucking still and see myself for the first time. And I feel like in the last 4 years, I have gotten to know who I am, as authentically know who I am now, in more ways than I ever did in the first 30 years of my life. Truthfully, I was asleep at the wheel. I truly did not even allow myself to be my authentic self. 2020 went through a very heavy spiritual awakening. I lost a lot of friends at the time. I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that too. It kind of brought out the worst in people, and we really brought out people's true colors. And it showed, I had a big falling out with the friend group at the time, and it just really opened my eyes to what I didn't want for myself anymore and how much I hadn't cared for myself or even even taking the time to like focus on what's going on inside, because I spent so much of my life focused on what I look like on the outside. And I had already learned that lesson that losing weight wasn't going to save me. It wasn't going to make me feel better on the inside. I was forced to look in and forced to like, hey, why don't you check out what's going on in the inside and truly heal and start to heal things that you've just been shoving under the rug. And if that's where this whole journey started. And I am really grateful, because I don't know that if any of that would have happened, how much longer I would have lived so like unconscious. But it really started to open my eyes and let me tap into who I was, what things did I really enjoy and what things did I just follow suit on. It took me a step back from partying and made me realize that I was kind of chasing superficial highs and using that to really kind of hide from myself and hide from these feelings and things in my life that I had just let build up for so long, and traumas that I had just let myself live through the lens of. And it was a really eye-opening time. And it was hard because me and my boyfriend had just started dating at the time. And it was like, we had just opened up a whole new world for ourselves. And then 2020 happens, and now we're like stuck inside. And like, I'm going through this spiritual awakening. He's still working, and it's so much is happening. And we're trying to navigate a brand new relationship while also navigating this totally unknown territory of a world pandemic. And finding ourselves, I went through a sexual, I don't know if it's a sexual awakening or what to call it, but I also started questioning my sexual identity in ways I had never done before, and realized that I wasn't completely straight anymore. Or not that I ever was, but I had all these, like, I was living in a glass house, and I was like going through these huge, big personal shifts and awarenesses, and we were doing it alongside each other. And it was like really hard to navigate so early on in our relationship. And all of that is to say, and then went through a course that I was trying to get, and this course I ended up not failing out of. I don't like to say that, but in this course, I definitely ended up dropping out of halfway. And it was a really big, high ticket course after not following through in the way, and it didn't go the way I wanted, right? And I'm so grateful I did that, because I learned so much, and it was a very vital part of my growth journey and healing journey. And the fact that needed that course for a family falling out that was happening at the time as well. We had a big shift in my family dynamic, and it's not my story to tell. If you were listening Detox back then, shout out to you. But also, I kind of talked about it then because y'all went through me with it. But I also didn't share details, and I still won't, because it's not my story. But it is part of my story, and dynamics in my family unit shifted forever. They'll never be the same. And that was really, really tough on me mentally. And it just felt like every turn I took, my life was falling apart piece by piece, frame by frame. I was unraveling in so many different ways, and like how I saw the world and all these things. And then I ended up pregnant. And as y'all know, I've shared this story. It crumbled the rest of whatever I had left standing. And motherhood, if you have been through it, you know, it's like getting hit by a bus of emotional, physical, mental, so many different parts of yourself are being run the fuck over by a giant semi, and it shifts your entire life immediately. And this whole move, I kept contemplating, like, why did I move up here? What the hell? Like, as if it would have been any different anywhere else. And honestly, it's taken me up until now, looking back, when I'm looking at it all, I'm like, damn, I actually needed to be up here for all of this, because I don't know if I would have ever met myself had I stayed in a space where I was so in a comfort zone of Corpus and in my hometown. And if I wouldn't have like gone in a different direction, because it has been a very isolating road up here as well. When you, not only 2020, but with all these different big shifts and changes, I ended up very much isolated at home. And it was a lot of time to look inward and too much time in my head. But also, it gave me the opportunity to really fight myself to get to know me and really step into this healing portion of my life and step into a whole new version of me in a way that's like way more authentic and way more healed and way less, I don't even know what word I'm looking for, but more conscious, more awake, and more just me in a way that I never had allowed myself to be in any way or form before. And doing all of this alone, technically, in a sense that like none of my family members were doing this kind of work. I was so grateful. I'm so grateful to have Dakota on this journey, because even though our journeys are very different, we're very parallel, and it has been a blessing from a thousand different gods above, I don't know, but it has been one of the biggest blessings in my life to be on this journey with Dakota, because it has been someone at least to understand the whole way. Because my family members, I love them to death, but they're not doing this work, and so they don't get it. And sometimes that's really tough too, when you have family members that you wish would get you and see you and validate you when you're doing this kind of work. It would be really helpful, but a lot of us actually do not have that, and it makes it kind of harder, and it makes it lonelier, and it makes it isolating. And then of course, pregnancy leads to having your baby and new motherhood, and I was battling prenatal depression that turned into postpartum anxiety, which definitely led me down a deep road of postpartum depression. And it has been the most trying 4 years of my entire life in so many different ways, in so many different angles. It has been absolutely like, it's hard to put into words, and even like saying it out loud now, looking back, it's so crazy, because when I got pregnant after my family, like my family unit falling apart and losing certain really strong relationships in my life, that I went through pregnancy alone in a way. Like, also super grateful for my partner. I don't want to not include, he has been here every step of the way. He has been the biggest support. He is my rock. He has put up, not put up. He has loved me through every step of the way, and that's through all of these changes and all these shifts and all of these awareness shifts. Every piece of it, he has been there, and I'm just so incredibly grateful for him. And in that also, we haven't had a chance to have a relationship that wasn't in the midst of really large, chaotic, life-changing struggles. Our relationship has just been very much like pandemic on top of like family issues, spiritual awakening, me questioning things. Every bit of it, he has been there and been just so supportive and loving. And I'm so lucky and so blessed to have a partner like that. And it has given us strength in our relationship that I don't know, like straight from the gate, we've been building strength in our relationship, because it has been, I want to cry. I'm getting emotional about it, because we truly just haven't had a chance to just be without some like big insane thing happening or going through me. And these last 2 years of postpartum have been really tough mentally, because we have no village here, and so it's just 24/7 work and parenting and doing our best to get ahead. We haven't even had a date night since he was born, for like a real date night. So it has been a really tough time, and I'm so grateful we've gotten through it with grace and love and all of that. But it's just like, I had a hard time looking at this move for a while as a good thing in my life. It just has felt so heavy and so a lot. It's just felt a lot, right? But in that, it's been beautiful at the same time, because looking back now, I can look at it all with like, wow, what a powerful 4 years. What a beautiful testament to our strength as a couple and a family, and my own strength. I don't think I know that I grew up very dependent in some ways, where I thought I was independent, whereas this move, everything that's happened since even my family falling out, has been a way of building strength, and me being able to stand up on my own and realizing that like, hey, I got this, I got me at the end of the day. And it's just been really cool to to see myself grow in such a like insane way, even though it's been a very painful experience. I think that's kind of the point, though, is what I want to share is if you're in what feels like a very painful chapter, there is purpose, there is beauty in it, there is strength being built, there is a lot going on in the bigger picture that you might not feel right now. And I know maybe you're in a mood where you're like, yeah, okay. And I was in that mood multiple times where I just felt like nothing I was doing was working, nothing was paying off, everything just felt like it was crumbling. And when we're working with manifestation, not all of it's going to feel good. When you ask for your dream reality, when you ask for things to be given and like to like leave things that no longer serve you, the universe will really like, all right, you said you wanted to leave what no longer serves you, and it will dump you on your ass. I just saying that in like a way that with love and compassion for yourself and for that dump, but it truly will. And that's kind of how this has felt. And it's easy to look back now and see that, but in the middle of it was really hard. And I'm still being called right now to still like surrender more and trust more. And surrendering and trusting the universe has been one of the hardest lessons for me to learn. And that's probably why it took me a while. And it's probably why I still am getting big lessons, because I'm not listening. I didn't listen the first time, didn't listen the second time. The universe is like, I'm going to make sure you have to listen. And that's exactly how this whole 4-year process has gone for me. To be able to look at it now and see where I started, where I'm like, damn, I am finally grasping the lessons. I'm embodying the work I've been doing. And I can feel the shift, not only in me physically, emotionally, financially, but just also energetically. Sorry, in my brain. I thought I heard my baby crying, but he's fine. Okay. Anyways, energetically, it has shifted so much. And that's why all of this background story is to kind of get to where I'm at now and reflecting on all the things that I've brought in. Dakota and I were talking earlier. We were doing a course that we started almost a year ago. It'll be a year ago in July. And it took us a while, but I'm still not finished. I'm gonna be honest. Dakota just finished and it got us talking, and she went back to look at some of the stuff she was calling in the beginning this time last year. And it's like so beautiful because we are able to both see so much that we've grown and so much that we've called in. And her doing that made me go look back on mine. And it's only like shown me more on why we need to really not need to, but why holding space for yourself and compassion for yourself is so important, because the work you're doing is paying off. The work, nobody's perfect. We're going to fall back into patterns. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to lose our cool. We're going to not turn to to emotional regulation tools that'll help us. We're going to fuck up, and that's okay. And it doesn't mean that things aren't still working in our favor. It doesn't mean that we're not still worthy of our manifestations. It doesn't mean that we're not still worthy of the life we want. It's just part of life. And I know that a big part of these last 4 years has been a lesson in slowing the fuck down, surrendering to trust and also divine timing. And also a big one for me has been to release control and to truly step into like embody the fact that your success is inevitable. And had I been able to kind of learn to do that earlier on, I feel like I'd be a little further along, but it's taken me a while, and that's okay. That's valid. Your journey is your journey, and every lesson we go through is purposeful and for a reason. And I'm seeing that play out now. And this is where I want to talk about like what I'm manifesting and what I'm seeing from vision boards, from journal entries, from different parts of my life that I like was not even aware was working out in my favor in this way. And so one for me, and this is also a testament to why vision boards and journaling can be really powerful in your journey, not only for manifesting, but as kind of like a before and after. Like, when you're losing weight and you're taking pictures of yourself for before and after, so you can see all the small details in the pictures that maybe you don't see on your body or looking in the mirror, but you can tell in pictures. It's kind of like that in your like mental health. Like I there are moments for sure where I react or respond in a different way, and I can tell, like, wow, I can see the growth within me. But I really don't see the tiny details until I go back into my journals and I reread some of my journals or course information, like the coursework I do. When I reread those, I'm able to like see all the finer details that I have grown in or things that I have manifested in small ways. And it's really cool. If you're kind of on the edge of journaling or whatever, these are really cool things you can look back on if you do utilize those tools. And if you need help, shamelessly plugging, we actually released a journal. So go to our show notes and links in our bio. You can purchase that there too. So we wanted to create something that was a little easier for people to follow that would have helped us in the beginning. So yeah. Anyways, that's not where I was going with this, but I did want to throw that in there. And so I went through my journals, right? And I can see things that I am manifesting. And same with vision boards. I can see things coming to life that I put on vision boards a couple years ago that I never would have intended to come into my life this quickly. It's really cool because once you start having a lot of gratitude for where you are presently. And that's another thing I've had to put a lot of focus into is being grateful for where I am in the present moment and doing my best to be grateful for all these small little things in life so that I have the space and capacity to be grateful for the bigger things that are coming in my life. And especially as being a mom that's home a lot on her own, it's been very difficult. So I've had to stay out of a dark place by focusing on all the beauty in front of me, the little small gratitude details, all the little things. And in doing that, it opens my vision. It opens anyone who does this, right? You practice small gratitudes and small moments and all the things and being really grateful for all the things you currently have in your life. And not only does it open you up energetically to receive more, but it opens your eyes to just how much you have to be grateful for, especially, when you really get down to the little things: clean water, food in your fridge, healthy children, anything that you can find to be grateful for in your life, a roof over your head. Literally, we have so much to be grateful for. And the more you look at it and the more you'll see coming into your life. And that's something that has really helped me in this move is I've been so grateful and I've been looking at things and seeing like, damn, I can actually see like where certain parts of my manifestations are coming to reality and they look totally different than how I pictured them maybe, but they're still there. And I can have appreciation for everything that's coming into my life that I was wishing for just last year or 2 years ago. And just for an example, on my vision board from a couple years ago, Danielle and I originally planned on moving into an RV on my brother's property for a little bit to save up for a house. And lo and behold, that we went and looked at him and we made all these plans and then things just didn't work out. And I truthfully was like, well, I guess, out with that vision board. No, I'm just kidding. But I left it up for a while and I just assumed, I've been really flexible, maybe different paths are coming. And in order to really understand like how the universe works in such a crazy way, I have to run it back a little bit. For those of you who don't know me, I was raised by my dad and my stepmom. And I really didn't have a very close relationship with my biological mother for a very long time. And it's gotten better over the years for sure. I've done a lot of forgiveness and we both have worked through a lot and she has changed in such incredible ways. I'm very proud of her story. But again, not my story to tell. And we have gotten, very cordial over the last few years. And then when I got pregnant, and this is where beauty and your mess can kind of come out, when my family unit, dad, stepmom unit fell apart, it was an opening where she kind of really stepped in to be there for me in a way that she had never been able to before. And we got really close during my pregnancy. And out of all the family members that I thought that would kind of step up during that time period for me, she was one of the only ones, aside from my little brother, that really stepped up to the plate and was there for me along this journey, and who is the picture perfect grandparent. And I am so grateful Oliver gets that version of her, even if it comes at the cost of, I will never know what she was like as a not good as a present mom. She was never present in my life, but I'm really, really grateful that she has changed her life in a way that she gets to be present for my son and gets to have that relationship with him, and that she is the grandparent that I would wish for any little kid. I never had grandparents. So for me to see Oliver get such a loving and present and um the type of grandparent who literally is like, move, give me the baby, see you later. I'm so grateful that he has one of those because it is a blessing. And I wish it didn't come off of the back of some big falling out in my family, but I'm so grateful that that's what that mess produced. Because now, to tie it back in, I promise I'm going somewhere, guys, but now to tie it back in, she lives on some property in Rockport, and it just so happens that her and my stepdad are getting an RV for when they retire so that they can travel, but that's going to be a while. So it's just going to be parked on their property. And me and Daniel are moving in with Oliver free of charge. So it's like last year when we were thinking about, like 2 years ago when we were even planning this art, it was literally on a vision board from 2 years ago when I was pregnant. And I long thought that maybe that just wasn't working out. And here we are getting able to move into an RV for free, which means we can actually kind of test it out. And if maybe we want to go that route, then we can go that route. But also it gives us a real opportunity to save some money for our future and for our permanent home, because that is what we are, that's what's on the vision board now, is a home. But for now, like, it gives us this opportunity to live somewhere and for free. We don't have to pay for it, and it's being just landed in our lap. And I say that because, like, none of this was planned. My mom and I weren't close at the time, so I wasn't sharing these visions with her. I wasn't This has been a very recent thing happening, and it's all kind of aligning in ways that literally, if you told me 4 years ago that we were moving onto my mom's property to live in an RV with my son and my partner, I would have laughed. And I would have laughed. Like, I would have thought you were batshit crazy. But here we are. And another vision board thing come to light is on my recent vision board that I made last year at the beginning of this, I had a garden and a little homeschooling, like nature school outside. Like, it was a classroom outside, like a homeschool classroom outside, and a garden. What else? I wrote a notes today to talk about this, and then I guess I didn't save it, so I'm trying to remember. But yeah, anyways, the garden and the outside homeschooling area and a beach, because I've been dying to be back by the water again and again. This was our plan to move to Corpus wasn't until January. I had no idea Daniel would be down to move to Corpus. I just had a beach because I missed the beach, and I had in my head I had it as a vacation. But now when I'm looking at it, it's like we're moving back by the beach. My mom already has an established, really cool community garden on her property because my brother and my sister-in-law, one of my brothers and my sister-in-law, also lives on that property. And there's a nature school that's opening in Corpus that we're getting Oliver enrolled in. So, like, an outdoor homeschooling area. And it's really cool because the nature school is brand new in Corpus. That's not something that was even happening. And I truthfully never saw myself living back in Corpus. And that's been another thing that I've tapping into who I am authentically has really helped me get clarity around my life and honoring what I want and my desires. And moving back to Corpus was something I had to remind myself that, like, when I really thought about it, like, I want community, I want family, I want the slow life. It's felt almost like a step back in my life, or like I was going to disappoint people because I was back in my hometown. And it's like, I don't even know who the fuck the people I'm thinking I'm disappointing is. It's just made up stories in my head. And also, I had this notion before having a family that, like, I never wanted to live in my hometown. I wanted to enjoy my travels. I saw myself being somewhere far all the time, enjoying different cities. And now motherhood has changed me to my core. And all I want is soft and slow. All I want is a nice, still small town community to raise my son in and to feel safe and to feel comfortable and to not be with the hustle and bustle of the city life anymore. And I don't know if I would have ever like learned that about myself if I hadn't gone down this journey and became a mom and really tapped into who I was authentically, like to me, not what other people told me I should be. And like that's part of it. Like I grew up thinking like, oh, you got to leave your hometown, got to get out of here. And now, while that might be true, and I do think you should leave your hometown and visit other places, I think there is a certain beauty in being somewhere within a community and people you love, that if you have good community and people, then it's okay to not want to be there. And I had to remind myself of that too. And it's just really cool to see it playing out in the way it is and to be able to see certain things come to reality fruition. Whenever I went back into the journal from last year's course, starting it, one of the things I talked about again, I had no idea we were moving. I had no plans for moving. I thought we were going to do, Danielle got a job offer here, so I thought that's what we were going to do. And I wrote that in the section she asked, one of the questions was, what would you do if money were no option? And one of them, what I wrote was that I would live on a family farm where I could be surrounded by my family and we could just raise our babies together. And of course, it included everybody. And we could just raise our babies together and I would have help and we would have a community garden and a community pool and animals to tend to. And we would just, live this life. And I am literally moving to my mom's property with a community of my family with a garden and animals, and they have a pool and all these outdoor water stuff for the kids. I have lots of cousins for Oliver all the way around. There's always like group family gatherings, family dinners. And like when I originally wrote that's what I wanted, I was thinking like 10 years from now would maybe in 10 years could we make something like this happen again. None of this was a reality until I wrote it down and things just played out and I trusted the universe and I stayed trusting the universe. And heavy on the this or something better, everything that's fallen apart for me has only fallen apart so that the most aligned path can fall together. Because now that we made this move, like this decision to move, even the decision to move, we had no job lined up. We had nowhere to stay. We had no idea on what we were going to do or how we were going to make it because we're also been struggling to save money. So how are we going to make it happen? And it just so happens that because this was an aligned plan for us, because it's meant to be where we're at, everything has fallen into place. Daniel didn't even have a job up until a couple weeks ago, and he finally got the job, and it was the first job he wanted, and the job that the first job interview he had, and also the number one job he wanted out of all of his options. And so when he got the offer, it was an automatic yes, and it was so easy and everything. I have been journaling about like thanking the universe for the ease of this move since day one, and it has been smooth. Everything's been smooth and everything's been falling into our lap, and it's been a really really great experience, even though it's been really tough because it has tested me on trusting the process. I have had to release control of everything. None of it was up to me anymore, even including this RV, because here's the kicker. They didn't even have the RV yet. Here's another kicker. They still don't. Things keep popping up for this stupid RV, and it has been the biggest test for me to not cling to the stress and the like reality of we don't have somewhere to be yet. We don't have a place to live yet, and we leave in 3 days. Past me would be screaming, crying, puking, throwing up, all of it. I would be in the fetal position if stress, wanting to like hug a few back. I would be stressed out. And I have been so cool, calm, collected this week that it almost is scary to me because I don't know what this is like. It's like, girl, all your regulation practices are paying off. Everything is working. And also, I have really embodied more and more trust because I'm able to look back and see the receipts. I am always taken care of. truly, faithfully, always taken care of. I never lack for anything. I am very blessed, and the universe is always conspiring in my favor. And that is how I've gotten my way through this, and what keeps me moving forward and keeps me trusting that at the end of the day, everything's going to work out. And at the end of the day, I have to remind myself that I said this or something better. And sometimes that comes with really having to trust the something better part, because a lot of times things fall through that we really wanted, and we just don't know that something better is on the other side. And so that's where I'm at. The universe just hasn't presented the perfect RV for us yet, right? Or something needs to be worked out along the line. And I am trusting that with my core, and I am so excited to be able to come back and record my next episode from the RV to tell you that, see, everything works out, because it does. And maybe I hit y'all up from the or something better part. I don't know. But I'm just honestly feel, even if whatever happens, I'm just so grateful to all this work and healing, and truly tapping into who you are on a deeper level, and really letting go of your past, and letting go of who you think you have to be to please anybody else in the world. Because once you can, it's like this weird freedom that I've never experienced internally, this freedom and this trust and this self-love and this self-compassion, heavy on the self-compassion, because learning how to love myself wholly has been really hard for me, because I just have a lot of, trauma and built up limiting beliefs and things that were ingrained in me that were really fucked up. But I have to heal through those and release those, and it takes some time. But I think if you struggle with having like a full self-love thing, because I know other people may resonate with that, um, especially if you've had a really loud inner critic your whole life, self-compassion is where you should start, because it's just not should it's where I would start. Being able to hold compassion for myself has helped lead me into having more love for myself, to remind myself of the things I've survived through, of the things I've been through, of the things I still stay going and sticking it in sticking it through. I'm proud of myself, and I'm able to hold a lot more compassion. Like, yeah, maybe I still need to get somewhere on the self-love, but I'm able to hold a lot of self-compassion. And that's what these 4 years have really kind of taught me, is just to let it go and to slow down and to step out. I also had to unlearn. I'm still unlearning hustle culture and this need to be like constantly going. And that's what this next chapter for me, I really want to step into just a really slow, steady, and soft life, so that I can align more with my feminine. I've lived my life out of this wounded masculine energy for so long that closing the chapter, I'm ready to close the book on this chapter. And that's, I think it was so much so fast that it's been like, it's like almost like a roller coaster of healing, and very, very much so nonstop. Like, even with Daniel and I's relationship, we haven't had time to slow down. It's nonstop. My nervous system, I feel like I'm at a peak with my healing, and having to really like check in with myself and honor the fact that, like, hey, I need help. I can't do this on my own anymore. Not being a stay-at-home mom with no village, this is not, I feel like I'm at a ceiling with my healing, because I have no room for integration. Everything feels so like charged all the time. It feels so heavy all the time. And I already feel it lifting just knowing we're leaving here. And I feel like sometimes we're told that it's on us. Like, I kept blaming myself on this healing journey. Like, why am I not healed yet? Why is this motherhood journey so tough for me still? Why this, why that? And it's because, babe, like, I'm not in the right environment. I'm not in the right environment to really reach my fullest potential. This is not the environment for me. I need community. I need help. I need to do what I want to do. I need to be by the fucking ocean. I need to be in the water floating in salt. I need to not be here anymore. And it's okay to admit when a certain environment is not working for you. When a certain environment, like, is not working. If you're trying shit, and nothing's working, like, look around your environment. And that can mean many different things, but look around your environment, people you hang out with, where you live, where you socialize. Like, if it's not serving you, do everything in your power to remove yourself from that. And that is what this is for us. It Are there more opportunities in Dallas for certain things? Yes, but it's not the environment for us. Our family's not thriving here. It's time to re-soil, time to replant. And that's something I've had to come to terms with too. And just, if you're in that space too, I highly encourage you to, like, one, hold some compassion for yourself and know that we're all just doing our fucking best. No one's perfect. And sometimes it really isn't you, babe. Sometimes it's your environment, and it's time to make every plan you can to relocate, do something. Never be afraid to move. Never be afraid to move. And that is something that I am really grateful I lived with my whole life. I have never been afraid to move. I love it. And, everywhere you go, you follow. So I wouldn't use that as a, like, oh, I just need to leave here. But if you truly are doing the work and you truly feel like whatever environment you're in is not for you, then follow that intuition, follow that gut feeling, and go replant yourself somewhere where you can thrive. And I'm already feeling that energy. I can already feel like weight lifting off of me. And maybe part of it obviously is just like the excitement of something like new, even though it's not that new to me. I'm from Corpus, but like the excitement of a change, obviously. And it'll really be nice to have integration for the first time, to have help with Oliver so that Daniel and I can go on a date night, so that we can get to know who we are now. Because when we started dating, we were totally different people, and we haven't had a chance to really like reconnect. If I'm being honest, it's just been so much that it's still really hard to move out of the roommate phase or out of this resentment phase, because I'm always home with the toddler. He's always at work. And it's like, we can only get so far without help. And really had to acknowledge and remind myself that, like, we can have it all, but not all at once. Like, we can't be all everything for everybody and ourselves all at once. Like, we need help. We require community and a village of sorts. And not everyone has one. I've never had one, so I'm really excited to actually be able to tap into one for the first time. I made a hair appointment for the first time in 2 years, and I cried because I can make plans for the first time in 2 years without like worrying about who's going to watch my kid or how will I do it because Daniel's going to probably be at work. And it's just been such a blessing to have this shift in my life and to know that I am going to be able to like start a new chapter. And I'm so excited to take you guys on that chapter and into this next space. I just really hope that in this whole episode, I don't want to make it too much longer, but I really hope you found some value or can resonate with this. And if you're in the middle of your like struggle, just know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. We just have to keep moving forward and keep putting like our best foot forward, because even if it feels like it's going to be forever, you never know when the universe is going to bless you with whatever you want in any area of your life. Even looking back, and to be grateful for the progress and know that even if it's not exactly the final destination of where you want to be, that you are making progress and moving forward. That is still very valid. Progress over perfection any day. And also a reminder that like the speed in which you are going is not important. It's just the direction. So keep moving forward and keep trusting the process. I promise you, that may sound really hard to do, but it's worthwhile and things do work out. And everything that you're going through right now is for a purpose. Even now, being so isolated in motherhood has been so fucking hard. And I have questioned why I had this motherhood experience. Why me? Why did Dakota move when we both had? There's so many whys on why I would have to do motherhood essentially kind of alone, because my partner works. He's still very involved. But now looking at it, like, I'm actually really, really grateful that I got to find my footing in motherhood without everyone else's influence. Now I have I'm stronger in my boundaries. I'm stronger in my abilities, and I don't have to worry about like a bunch of noise from other people and their opinions, because I'm already like well established in what works for me and my family. And I don't know that I would have been able to like stand up for myself and my son in those ways had I like been surrounded by family from the get-go, you know? And so in everything we do, just know that there is a purpose. Even if it feels really tough and heavy, there's definitely a purpose, because all this pain and failure and all of these last 4 years have been a very, very kind of a darker ride for me, if I'm being honest. It's it's all been for a purpose, and now I feel like I can finally like step into my integration and step into my harvest season, where I can finally harvest from all the seeds I've been planting, and I can finally relax, and my nervous system will really get a chance to like relax. Sorry, excuse me. What I was going to say is basically I just know that all that we've been doing, all these tools, all these regulation practices, all of it's going to just set me up to really start fresh in Corpus in a way that's like healthy for me and my family, and we can really up level even more from here. I just know that seeing receipts like this only makes me trust the process more, only makes me more excited for this work, more excited to share with you guys, because I sometimes it's really cool to see things happen in real time for people, like instead of just the back of like, oh wow, they're a millionaire now, but like y'all get to watch us unfold in this, and I think that's really cool. And yeah, so stay committed to your goals, stay committed to your dreams and desires, and know that the universe is working behind the scenes at all the time for you. Once you have put it out there, it's working and conspiring in your favor to make it happen. And yeah, I feel like I don't want to go into too many circles, and Oliver might wake up soon. So ignore all of this back here. Again, moving. Everything's a mess, and if I felt all over the place during this episode, it's because I'm also a mess right now, but we're getting shit done. The next time y'all hear from me, I'm going to be in that damn RV, and I'm going to hopefully be sun-kissed from the beach and, full of sand. Really excited. So all of this to say, wrap up, that I'm really grateful for this journey. I'm grateful for the progress. I'm grateful for the community we're building on here, which was also in my manifestations, was to get the podcast back started. And obviously we've done that and more. We've just launched our first digital product. Again, another manifestation coming to light. And I just really want to celebrate not only myself. I know this episode's been talking about my journey, but celebrate Dakota as well, because I couldn't have done any step of this journey without her. From the beginning, she's the one who kind of reeled me into a lot of this work and stood by me through a lot of this work. And I just want to shout out her, because I know she's listening right now too. And just, I'm really proud of us, and I want to take a moment to celebrate us, because stuff on my vision board was for both of us, and it is coming out too. This podcast, the digital product, stuff like that is also already in this reality. And I just, if we can do this work, anyone can. And I just want to share that and remind everyone that it is happening. You're doing a great fucking job, and some of you are doing it with babies at your feet. We do not give ourselves enough credit. I don't give myself enough credit. I know Dakota doesn't give her enough credit for doing this work with kids at her feet. It is really tough, and you're a fucking rock star, and I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of me, and I'm proud of Dakota. So yeah, thank you guys for listening, coming to my little update TED Talk. I'm sure if you're still here with me, then I love you and thank you. And I hope you guys resonated as always. If you have any questions, feedback, comments, whatever, please leave it in our DMs, wherever. Also, leave us a review if you liked this episode or any of our episodes. Please, reviews are how we reach more people and build our community. And the more we do that, the more people we can reach, and all of it. Super excited about stuff that's coming up. And if you are interested in journal, we're going to put it in the show notes as well. You can find it on our bios. Yeah. So super stoked. The next time will probably be an episode with Dakota and I don't know when, but we will keep you updated. And if you don't follow us on our socials, do that so you can stay up to date with everything that's coming up. All right, guys, I love you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.